So now, 15 years in the square, and BBC1 celebrating live every morning this week with Gaby Roslin.
And it's this! You weren't sure, were you? Yes, it's Albert Square. We are here every morning, and look, we have to come over here. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Queen Victoria. Plenty of fallout last night, eh? Now, if you are an EastEnders fan, I promise you that this week, for this hour, from 11 till 12, starting today, February the 21st, this is the place to be. We're going to be going inside, we're going to be going outside, we're going to be meeting old stars, we're going to be... Ah! That was exaggerated, wasn't it?
Was just
Jeremy
a bit.
Spake,
Hi, good
hello.
to see you.
I'm not really surprised to see you, because you're here all week as well.
I am, very much so. And looking forward to it, I have to say. Very excited by this whole thing. It is.
We're obsessed.
We are completely mad. Wasn't last night fantastic? Come with me. You've got an opportunity all this week to speak to the stars. We've got Irene on the phone, the DeMarco girls, and just a few others that you may remember from the past. Take a look at this. Behave yourselves. Come on, what the hell are you doing?
Who's that? What the hell are we doing? Something to do with you, pal. Where are you from?
You on the square.
Yeah, come on, mate. You're going for a little ride, I think. Come on,
apparently,
away with
where
you.
are we going? Where are we off to, guys?
That's our business, isn't it, Pete?
Right,
Yeah.
apparently we're going off, but before I give you the number to ring, why don't you take a look at this, just to see what's happening in the rest of Happy Birthday EastEnders.
That's quite enough, that's quite enough.
Last week, Ian's new nanny, Laura Dunn, was the 217th arrival on Albert Square. We get an exclusive insight into head honcho casting for a top soap when Mal Young joins us later. She ruled Albert Square with a rod of iron for 3 years. Anna Wing, alias Lou Beale, comes back from the dead for a reunion with her on-screen son, also known as Peter Dean. Jeremy's been through the archives to pick out your favourite moments from the last 15 years. A murder, secret affair and a suicide are just some of today's highlights. We expose some of the secrets of EastEnders' infamous props, including that ashtray, when we rummage through the prop store with Tony Abrey. It's sometimes for better, but usually for worse. The 18 EastEnders weddings, we have the ultimate guide to the best of the knots tied in Albert Square. And you will get the chance to win a luxury cruise in our special Postcards from EastEnders competition.
The great thing is we're also giving you the chance to speak to the stars. You can chat with Irene, the DeMarco girls, Nikki and Teresa, and a few of the others that you haven't seen in the square for a long, long time. The magical number to ring is 0990 100 755. Or alternatively, you can email us at www.bbc.co.uk EastEnders, if you can manage to remember all of that.
Yes, we're all going to try to. I'm just flattening my hair. Came from the outside. Now, last night, what a show. Let's just have a little sneaky look at last night.
Oh, well, I don't want to hear it.
Come on, that's enough. Ask Ian to tell you the truth.
Have you any idea what she's going on about?
Just leave it on.
Is a slut?
No, they split up because he lied about Lucy being ill.
Oh, rubbish.
The doctor gave Lucy the all clear just before the wedding. He kept quiet about it because he wanted to blackmail Mel into marrying him. Thanks, Lisa.
Lisa, upstairs.
Isn't that right, Ian,
Oh,
eh?
tell her it's not true.
Look, just leave it, Auntie Pauline, please.
Oh, you know what? You know what? That Ian Beale, do you know what? I'm going to sort him out. Apparently, Adam Woodyart's going to be coming in this week, and I have to tell you, Adam is a really, really nice guy. And he's nothing like Ian Beale, but Ian Beale, can't stand him. I won't say the word I'd like to call him, because this is daytime TV. Roberta, hello. Irene, my favourite. Thank you. I cannot believe you're going to be leaving.
Well, it's not for a while yet.
How long?
Late summer, early autumn.
But then, will you be able to tell me, are they going to have a dreadful car crash or some awful thing? You're going to be shot by daffodils by the river, or are you going to still possibly be coming back?
Well, what they've told me is that they want to keep the door open. They've been very nice to me. But, you know, I could misbehave between now and then and they might shoot me, I don't know, in a shop or something.
No, they can't. No, you two, I mean, the relationship between you and, Terry, Irene and Terry's relationship is incredible. And it captured the nation straight away. Everybody fell for the two of you as a couple. Is that going to be very hard as well, to leave behind?
No, not really, because I've been married to Gavin now for 3 years. And it's been a real laugh. But I don't think we'll ever really part now, because when you come into something like this, you're really swimming to survive. And we come from a similar background, theatre.
Did you really feel that? You've used for me to survive on a show like that?
Well, it's so fast. I think it might be easy if you haven't done anything before, because you just go with it and you learn on your feet. What happens if you've been working before, multi-camera was like peculiar to me. I didn't know where to look. I'd look in someone's face and think, is that a camera? No, what is happening here? And it's so fast, this.
That's the thing that always astonishes me about EastEnders, and I sort of ask it again and again, and I can't get my head around it, that 1 minute you could be doing a scene from Thursday's show, then from next week's show, then all of that. How on earth, as an actor, and you've done lots of theatre and everything before and other shows before, but how do you get your head around doing this in rep? It's the same as being in rep, isn't it?
Everybody helps you. You can always just ask the floor for someone to call somebody else, and they're storyboarded and stuff. What
does that mean to all the people that wouldn't know that?
Oh, well, you can say, do I know already that my son's gay, or have I done that yet, or whatever?
Oh, I see, right, yeah.
And you rely on wardrobe department, absolutely, because you'd be in the wrong frock at the wrong time, and they're brilliant at all that. Sometimes that helps you as an actor. What you're wearing tells you where you are.
So you suddenly become Irene in the scene where she was outside having a fight with whoever.
Yeah, but it is difficult. But also, it's a wonderful test for an actor. You really have to just, it's like you improvise within a really tight prison, which is fantastic.
And you have to just turn it on like that, you mean? I mean, that's, I think, more than stage acting. I love going to the theatre, absolutely passionate about the theatre, but I can imagine with a soap, you have to be there in the instant, and give it your all.
Yeah,
and
I can't tell you how bad I can be, though, in those early takes.
Not at all.
It's really bad.
I don't believe it at all.
And I just say to the floor, I'm sorry, I bored myself, let alone you lot, let's have another go,
Really? So sometimes do you say that, if you feel it hasn't gone well, you ask if it
Yeah, but we all laugh, most of the time we laugh.
I should find out all about this. If there's any questions you'd like to put to Roberta, Irene, then give us a call, 0990 100 755. I'm not going to be rude, I'm just going to leave you for a moment, because the two very beautiful girls behind here, girls, you're not working today, come on round. Carly and Leila, Nikki and Teresa, actually, just have to get, this is an email from Jonathan Hager, who says, just wants to tell you, girls, that how attractive you are, and could he have your phone number? Jonathan, no, I think you can't have their phone number, quite frankly. Now, how old are you?
16.
And you're
21.
21. So when did you start? How long ago?
It's about 2.25 years ago now, yeah.
So you were really young when you started?
Yeah, I looked awful, I had a brace. And
I've seen her grow up. You did not?
Yeah, I did. You watched the first episode when we was at...
no, you had a brace, but you didn't look awful, I mean.
Oh, no, I did.
No, you didn't. Take my word for it. Jonathan Hager certainly doesn't think so. What was it like, though, joining... I mean, you're still incredibly young. Joining a soap that you probably watched. Did you both watch it before you were in it? Yeah. Was that extraordinary, being that age, joining such a soap?
It didn't sink in at first.
Really?
I never realised that how big it was until, that getting recognised in the streets and things. Just thinking, wow, this is amazing.
And how about you, when you found out you had the job, joining an established soap like that?
Well, I was really ecstatic, and I came in to have our wardrobe fitting, and at first it was quite bizarre, because you're seeing all these people that you think you know. It's like, oh, it's Ian, and
do you call them? Good. So you call them by their names as well?
At first. Well, we didn't actually call them by their names, but and it was really exciting and lovely. But as soon as you meet people, you know that they're. I mean, the whole cast is really, really nice, and obviously you're worried about coming into something. Are they going to be prima donnas? Is everyone going to be all right? But we were really lucky. Like, the whole cast is lovely, and
I have to say that everybody seems the nicest bunch of people.
They're really nice.
Was it strange for you two to meet? I remember seeing in the newspapers that the Italian family joining, and thinking, you all look incredibly alike. It is extraordinary. You two do look alike. You could be related. When you met for the first time, was that strange to think, oh, look, this is my sister?
It was nice. I mean, people do sometimes say we look alike, but if we're in a scene together, I'll go, right, you've got your hair forward, and I do that as well.
Exactly the same hair.
We try and look more alike.
Actually, between the two of you, you could certainly have the next shampoo ad. You do have beautiful hair. Now, if there's anything you want to ask these girls as well, as I told you, we are going to be doing a phone-in this morning. You're going to be talking to these two. Plenty of others as well that I'm going to be talking to, and you can ask them anything at all. Can they ask you anything?
Yeah.
Roberta, can they ask you anything at all?
Have I woken up yet?
0990 100 755. 0990 100 755 if you'd like to speak to any of the cast from now or from the past of EastEnders. Now it's time to go over to Jeremy.
Thanks, Gaby. Well, it has to be said, the people of Albert Square certainly know how to live life to the full. Over the first few years, we saw a few sort of deaths happening in the square, didn't we? There were a few people dispatched as we got to know the locals. But one guy who was heavily involved in that was our dear friend, Nick Cotton. Well, I'm joined here by John Altman, who played Nick Cotton. He hasn't been here for how many years?
About 2 years now.
2 years. So how did you get the job?
Well, I've been on the dole for about 9 months, and my agent sent me along, said dress accordingly, so that was blue jeans, leather jacket, had the earring in, slicked the hair back a bit like this, and talked like that, you know what I mean? Got in there and read some of the script, and a couple of days later...
Is it strange being back here in the square?
It brings back memories, but it's almost like coming home in a way, because I know so many people up here, so it's like, hi. And even people I don't know, they know me, and I kind of know them, so it's quite nice. Yeah.
Well, we're going to be catching up with you a little bit later this morning. Right. I hope you're going to lose your serial killer gloves. Well, it's now time for your very first instalment of Jeremy's Journal. Take a look at this and see if you can spot someone who came back to the square 10 years later with a different name.
In 1985, I was crewing my first flight to Russia when EastEnders first started. I'll never forget that first episode. Who killed Reg Cox? It became the first of some of the most talked about storylines on television.
I can still feel his pulse. Give me something with it, Spake. Right. What do you think it could be? I don't know. Hypothermia, stroke, drink, I don't know. He could have been here like this ever since he's been missing. No. What you want about?
They never caught him for Reg Cox, but nasty Nick Cotton was to have many more run-ins with the police over the next 9 years.
You told the bill you was at your mum's. I was there when they interviewed you.
That's it. They checked her out.
What, was you at your mum's all right?
They checked. They were satisfied. Just goes to prove, you know what we cracked up to be, doesn't it?
Where's the money coming from to feed the extra mouth?
In 1985, when unemployment was at its peak and the reality of life was central to EastEnders stories, Pauline's late pregnancy was unwelcome news for her mum, Lou Beale.
Oh, come on, Mum. It wasn't Arthur's fault they closed the factory down and no one wanted his dinkies.
Give us a tea, Lofty.
Nick Cotton's mum, Dot, first appeared in July of that year. She quickly became a stalwart of the Bible quotation and the most put-upon mother of British television.
It feels as though a circular saw's going through it. Damn! Language. Thou shalt not blaspheme.
By the end of that month, lanky lad and tearaway Martin Fowler was born.
The new baby.
He's got a well-trodden path of trouble to follow from his big sister, Michelle. She was the original gym slip mother. Me and 25 million other people tuned in to see the episode where we found out who the father was. Local landlord, Dirty Den Watts. The following year, the press had a field day trying to guess if Michelle would jilt Lofty at the altar. The action just kept on coming. Debbie and Andy had just had a massive row and she told him to drop dead before this fateful encounter. The original and the best, Angie Watts. She was fab. This infamous cliffhanger had the nation hooked and gave me, and everybody else, another reason to hate Dirty Den. And what about this song? Do you remember Sharon and Kelvin in the band? It didn't go down too well in Soapland, but in real life it became a top 10 hit.
You know. What do you know?
The 80s were the decade that taste forgot, and Pat Wicks was the queen of EastEnders fashion. It was also the start of many shock paternity revelations.
You've heard of your Uncle Kenny, Pete's brother? He's your dad, if you want to know.
In this case,
Arthur got his day in court after stealing the Christmas club money to pay for Michelle's ill-fated wedding.
for 28 days.
But we were all pretty shocked by the sentence.
You look pretty much the same.
Well, the old hair's on its way out, isn't it?
Whilst I was busy flying off to the Mediterranean during 1987, Pat was down on the Isle of Dogs, bumping into an old flame.
She do it for you.
Do what?
Your bonnet.
Little did anybody realise just how big an influence Frank Butcher would be in Albert Square.
Gosh, hey, what do you take me for?
I'm not one of them, that's for sure, and I should know better than most.
That was amazing looking back at that. And did you see Carol Harrison, Tiffany's mum? There she was, coming in all those years ago and later coming back as Tiffany's mum. Ooh, see, we're going to reveal all sorts of things to you. In fact, I'm going to reveal this to you without showing people behind it. I'm going to show you this photograph. There we are. That is a photograph of Lou's bedroom downstairs, August 1987. And in fact, here she is. Oh, how lovely. Lou Beale and Peter.
Hi.
Peter, it's so
Yes.
easy just to call you Peter because you were Peter on and Peter off.
Call me Pete.
Pete, okay. And you, of course, are Anna in real life. But
That's right.
is this very strange? I have to tell you, it feels like you were on yesterday to see the two of you. But does this feel strange for you? Is this the first time you've been back since?
Yes.
Back to the set, yes,
Yes,
first time.
yes.
So
6
how
years
does it-
me, I don't know about Anna.
Oh, hundreds of years, me, dear.
Is it about 12 years ago?
Is it?
13 years.
But
So-
they still stop me in the street.
Do they? What do people say?
Oh, hello, Lou.
Isn't that lovely?
It's Lou, and I had a letter from a Frenchman last week.
Oh, what did he say?
Could you and will you? I won't tell you the rest.
Oh, if it was
Mother.
French, I can imagine.
Mother.
But no, is it a nice feeling coming back, or do you feel slightly awkward?
No, not at
It's lovely
all.
feeling, it's like coming back
it's
home in a way.
Cozy, cozy,
Yeah.
cozy, warm, and seeing all these lovely young kids. Beautiful skins, so clever.
You are a lovely lady,
No,
aren't
but
you?
they are so clever. I watched last night and I thought, ah, they
It
are
was good,
so
wasn't it?
clever. They're
So you,
clever.
now I read that you religiously watch EastEnders.
Always. Except last night, I had a bit of supper in between.
It was a long one, like, it was a
Yes, I
double
got
whammy.
hungry. I got a bit hungry.
And how about you, Pete? Do you watch it as well?
I watch it when I do get time. The last 2 years I've been on tour a lot with plays. So, I was in the theatre by then.
Actually, can I just
Yes.
ask you about that? Because
Yes.
we have seen in the papers, you know, the photos of saying that you were a car park attendant. Is this true? You're saying you've been in the theatre.
Well,
What
no,
was that story about?
I run a security business. You know, we look after film sets at the night time and that. And
does.
we was doing a commercial and for Kodak it was, and the son found out and called me a car park attendant. I told my agent to get me in the National, and he got me in the wrong car park.
So that was the story behind that. Thank you.
Yeah,
for
it's just
clearing
about
that up.
business, yes.
Sorry, I just heard somebody snigger. Oh, I'm scared.
It's
I'm
him.
sorry. You know, I'm sorry. You still frighten me. You stay there.
He's
Behave
lovely,
yourself.
yes, he's
Yeah, I'll be
super.
back there in a sec. So, it does. Having Nick Cotton over your
On
shoulder
back,
is a
yeah.
strange feeling.
Don't let anybody in here. Yeah.
Now, oh no, please don't. Keep your eye over there. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, when you watch it now, do you think that it's changed dramatically, that it's no longer the show it was in your day?
Well, things change, life changes.
Yeah.
So it goes with it. Life changes. I mean, it doesn't stand still, does it?
I think the magic
We
of
go with the
EastEnders
run.
in the beginning, Julia had it based in the 50s with the 80s problems. So everybody feels comfortable with the past. Of course, as things go on, things get softer, and they brought it up into the 90s.
Well, I think very
But I
much
think the
last
magic of
night-
it was the 50s, the back door open, that kind of feeling. of
But
the
it is
EastEnders.
still a bit like, I mean, last night showed that. It was very much the community feel.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Are you sorry that you left? That was your choice, wasn't it?
It was my choice. No, I had reservations after. I thought maybe you might have made a mistake, but at the time I was very sure. Because we had 31 million viewers when we were in it.
Wow!
31 million viewers.
Well, today we've got 57 million watching this show.
Oh, that's
so
good, that's good. That's
We're in a good episode again.
and I suddenly thought, well, we're shown all over the world, and what do the people think of the English? And they're layabouts, they're knocking each other about, they're all on social security, they're sponges, and I'm a pacifist, supposed to be. And I thought, oh, no, 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 I better not be part of this set. And they came along and said, tons more money, another 2-year contract, and I said, no, I think you better write me out. But later on, I thought, did I do the right thing? I'm not sure.
But now?
I don't regret. You never regret what you do. You get on with it. You make decisions.
And you're
get
still
on with
working.
It. Oh,
You're
right.
touring with shows and everything.
Yes, I've been around the world with
You're
Blue
amazing,
Hearts,
lady.
you see, and I'm
Yes.
doing voiceovers, and I've got another telly coming out. It's on another channel.
All right, we won't talk about that. But both
Please
of you,
five.
thank you very much for a moment.
Pleasure.
Just quickly
Thank
over
you.
here, Look, I know you're not really Nick Cotton in real life, but
yeah, we met before.
They were just saying, we've met a few times, but Lou, I was about to call her, bless her, Anna, was saying that people say, "Oi, Lou." Do people still come up to you and say, "Oi, Nick"?
Yeah, I mean, Pete was saying, even if you haven't been in for about 4 or 5 years, people just don't forget your face. Unless you have plastic surgery and put a blonde wig on or something, you know. It's still, you know, you murdering so-and-so. All right, Nick, you know.
Yeah, but also, when you were a baddie, it is that reaction. It's like, oh, you know.
Yeah, and it's an advantage being a baddie because, say you play Mr. Nice Doctor, people come up and ask about their ailments, you know. But being Nick, people tend to sort of stay away a bit.
Keep away.
Yeah.
Great.
So
well, we're going to be chatting to you later. You're going to be in the phone in as well. 0990 100 755 if you'd like to speak to this man as well and all the other stars of EastEnders. Now it's time to go over to Jeremy and what are you reading? What are you reading?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was just catching up with Walford's News. Now, you could be forgiven for thinking that I was back at the left luggage department of Heathrow Airport, but I'm not. I am in the Aladdin's cave that is EastEnders prop store, and here to show me round is Tony Abrey. Tony, hi, good morning.
Good morning, Jeremy.
Now, what can you tell me about these exciting-looking suitcases?
Well, this one's very interesting. This was Angie's.
Oh, now, I remember the day she left Den. She had that bag at her feet, didn't she?
She did indeed.
What on earth's it doing here still?
Well, it's been recycled some 10, 12 years later, and it's now Roy's.
Oh, Roy, you can tell a lot about somebody in their suitcase, Roy. Watch out. What other things have we got here that's interesting?
This one's rather interesting. That's Grant's baby bag for Courtney.
All right, nappies as well. All those mums out there who are short on nappies. And this, I must say, is particularly interesting looking. We've got all sorts of weird, wonderful little trinkets here. But look at this. Now, is this what I think it is?
It is indeed. That's the...
Oh!
That is the ashtray.
The famous ashtray
yes,
that... should I be touching this? Have I got my fingerprints?
Yes, indeed. That's the...
What's that made of, Tony?
Rubber.
It's made of rubber.
Rubber, yes.
As is that... little champagne bottle up
indeed,
here.
yes, that's yes, prop champagne.
So how do you know what has to go where and all the rest of it?
Well, basically this is all general stock here. I mean, that sort of could be Pauline Fowler. That certainly is Dot.
Oh yes, look, cigarettes in there. Look, there you go, Dot. Fantastic. But I did spot something earlier, Tony, I have to say. The famous gnome.
That is the famous gnome, yes.
And that, of course, was stolen by Phil and Grant, wasn't it? And held to ransom.
It was indeed, yes, indeed.
And then we've got Arthur's old chair at the back here. Look at this.
This has got a nice story. This was put out in the yard while Pauline's was being decorated, and the rag and bone man came along and Robbie helped him take it away.
Oh, that's incredible. And Robbie always was a bit of a thing.
Indeed.
Now, I have to say, folks, there's still plenty to come this morning. So if you want to keep watching, in a few moments, we're going to show you exactly what is here left to go on Happy Birthday EastEnders.
At the end of that list, you saw call the cast if you want to speak to them. 0990 100 755. We're going to be doing live phone-ins all this week, so take a note of that number. Now, 15 years EastEnders have been running. I think I've watched every single episode, and this is how it all started. In the spring of 1983, producer Julia Smith and script editor Tony Holland were given the task of creating a popular bi-weekly serial for the BBC. After months of development, including one plan to base it at a caravan park, they came up with the idea of a drama based on life in the East End of London.
Hey, Pops. What are you doing here? I'll come get me dinner money.
The original cast of just 23 actors was centred around 3 East End families: the Watts, the Beales and the Fowlers. Even today, many of the storylines can be traced back to the original trials and tribulations of these families. Julia Smith was infamous for her attention to detail and told agents that only genuine EastEnders need apply. But it was the 80s, and in the end she relented and decided that even Albert Square needed some yuppies.
We haven't even got £100.
I have.
Oh, thank you, that's right. Throw poverty in my face.
Oh, look, Debs, it's only money.
Simon May, a leading television composer, was charged with the task of coming up with a theme tune that would get people in from the garden or the kitchen.
I could see from Tony's face that I was getting absolutely nowhere, so I came back the next day and I knew that it had to be special.
The Doofs, now a central part of the Cliffhangers, were thought of just before the show went on air. Originally, the producers wanted the show to be based in a real part of London. Facet Square in Hackney was chosen, But it soon became clear that the traffic, the onlookers and an old war hospital would prove too much for a rigorous shooting schedule. So designer Keith Harris created the perfect replica of the East End of London in Elstree.
The first time I realised how important that programme was when we went out on the lot and saw Albert Square. And I suddenly realised that they were spending an awful lot of money. Then it fell into place about the detail, about dress, why Julia was wanting everything absolutely right.
I've been watching Rachel.
With the paint barely dry, the first episode of EastEnders was transmitted on Tuesday the 19th of February 1985.
Robbed and murdered in your own bed.
He weren't robbed as far as we know. He ain't been murdered and he weren't in his own bed. Apart from that, you're spot on as usual, Ethel.
I think they came up with this brilliant idea, which is obviously now after, 15 years, is everyone's talking point. What made EastEnders successful? It's down to two people. It's Julia Smith and Tony Holland.
And that was how it all started. And just to tell you that Hannah, the new girl, the new nanny for Ian Beale, is the 217th cast member to join EastEnders. And Mal Young, who's the boss of drama for the BBC and boss of EastEnders, obviously is part of the casting. And we've also been joined by the very beautiful Jackie, who was Lorraine, Jules' mum, who got to snog my favourite. I have to say, I really do miss Grant, and I know you're going to get people saying that. I've got it out of the way. Okay. Just saying that.
Okay, we'll get you a new Grant. Don't worry about that.
Jolly good. Yeah, and this lady, you should come back as well.
Oh, thank you, darling.
You're about to do something new, which we're going to talk about in a sec. You're doing Doctors, the new daytime soap. But the reason we've got both of you here, Mel, is to talk about casting. I mean, how on earth do you find, OK, you were just saying the new Grant or whatever, but how do you find the right person for the right part? And if there's an actor watching and think, the one thing I want to do is be in EastEnders.
Yeah.
Well,
before they hit the screen, that character's probably existed in our minds on bits of paper for up to a year. You know, on average about 6 months, but it can be as much as a year. And we're now planning a new family to come into EastEnders later on in the year.
And can you give us any
Oh no,
hints?
Absolutely none at all. Because it's all done in great secrecy. It's all done on little bits of paper that only go amongst a few people. So in our minds, they already exist, these people. We talk about these characters as if they are already there.
OK, you're saying in your mind.
So that's the first bit of it.
Do you picture them? Can you see them
blonde,
dark?
You know what they do. You have meetings and you say, well, they're not going to do that. They wouldn't say this. Because you create these Bibles, you create years of history before they've ever existed on screen. And it's called the Bible, you know, and it's everything, where they went to school, who their parents were, everything, how they react. And then the writers start to take that on, and you start to say, well, would they do this, would they do that? And then at the last bit, you bring the actors in, and you go through extensive auditions. And it's gut instinct. You just sit there, and you just wait for someone to walk in the door and think, that's the character, that's the person we created.
We do hear that, though. Performers hear that all the time, that it's just that minute that they walk in the door. Jackie, when you came for your audition for EastEnders, did they give you the Bible? Did you see that about Lorraine, or did you just go in thinking, I'm going for a part? I mean, how did it work?
No, I didn't see the Bible, but obviously my agent had seen the Bible. I don't think we as actors are allowed to see that when we're auditioning.
Oh, that's interesting.
We get a certain amount of rundown and lowdown about the character. So we, as best we can, go in and try and be that character. Or you present yourself. I think that's always the best way as an actor. Present yourself, and if you do a reading or whatever, then do it to the best of your ability. But we don't get to see that Bible. Later on we do.
Is it very difficult? Obviously, once you get the pass, I presume. But is it very difficult, though, going to an audition for EastEnders or, you know, Coronation Street or Brookside, which you were involved in before, for going for the biggies? Does the head get in the way of, oh, this is huge?
Yes, it does. I mean, I'd actually just finished peak practice, which was quite a big...
Massive, as well.
It was massive. So to go from that to eat something even bigger, and I mean, I used to walk down my street and, you know, 7:30, every living room had EastEnders on. Without a doubt, every living room had EastEnders on. So I remember getting that train up to Elstree and thinking, Oh my God, this is EastEnders. And you don't actually realise how big it is until you've been in it for about 3 months and your life completely changes.
That's what the girls were saying, the DeMarco girls were just saying that as well.
Absolutely.
Mel, you being in charge, just quickly, you being in charge of such a huge animal as EastEnders, was that quite a daunting task to take on in the beginning?
It was the big enticing thing that got me to come to the BBC to begin with. They said, would you like to look after EastEnders, Casualty, create Holby City? All these fantastic shows, and they're at the heart of the nation. They're at the heart of all the TV watchers. So, and my background had been with Brookside, and I'd created Family Affairs for Channel 5. So, suddenly you got your hands on the biggie. So it was just too good to turn down.
Well, I have to say, I love what you've done to it. I think the past 2 years have been incredibly strong as well. But it is a huge animal, and there are going to be people who are going to want to ask you all sorts of questions. Yeah. But I presume you don't want calls from actors saying, please, can I have a job?
Can I have a part? No, they'll have to wait for us to find that.
All right, so if you'd like to speak to these two, they're also going to be joining us on the live phone, and please give us a call, 0990 100 755, 0990 100 755. Now it's time to go over to Jeremy.
Well, we all love a wedding, don't we? But I've got one Walford resident here who would rather forget her wedding day, wouldn't you?
I would. I got all dressed up with nowhere to go in the end, didn't I?
I know, it was a very sad and tragic moment, wasn't it? But what do you think is the thing that's made Terry and Irene such a success?
I think that Irene is really quite a naughty person. That's when she arrived, she was naughty. She's trying to make herself respectable. She doesn't do it very well, does she?
Well, no, she ended up with Troy, didn't she?
I know. She didn't see that one coming. And I think Terry really makes her laugh at the end of the day, and she can make him laugh. So there's all the other things that go on. And they don't want to be lonely.
So what does the future hold for Irene and Terry as characters?
You want to get me the sack?
Oh, no, I'm just curious to know, because the whole nation does love you both, so...
Well, we're going to carry on that roller coaster of... I'm going to leave him, he's going to leave me, then we're going to get back, and it's all going to be lovey-dovey, and
Fantastic.
Go like that for a while.
Fantastic. Well, it has to be said, weddings at EastEnders don't always seem to go according to plan. We've just got a few little things for you to look at here.
She may be the face I can't forget, a trace of pleasure or regret. Maybe my...
Excuse me for taking it the wrong way, Ellen. Only I thought that when a man proposed to a woman, it was meant to be something like special, romantic, eh? Not something you fit in between taking orders for pie and chips.
Well, let's get it over and done with. If you're going to leave, I'd rather know now.
I've got one thing to say to you.
Yeah, what's that?
Pet Wicks. Will you be my wife? Well?
You're bloody right, I will.
Nigel, what are you doing?
Debbie, will you marry me?
You've done what?
I wanted it to be a surprise.
A surprise? You planned our wedding without even telling me, and you thought I would like it.
12 o'clock and it would all been
over.
over.
I don't believe this.
Nat, I know it hardly looks perfect laid out like this, but imagine what it's going to look like with lights and everything, yeah?
Lights? There isn't a light in the world that can make this lot look good.
Star up, we'll be right down.
You heard the man.
Okie dokie. This is some kind of joke, right?
Look, mate, this isn't my fault. Roy just gave me the keys to this one.
Right, I said right!
He's not here yet. Can you go around the block or something? Cheers.
Well, what sort of a hitch?
It could be anything.
He's not here, is he?
Yeah, of course he's here.
Well, why are we stopping then? I'll throw him and kill him.
You all right, love? Silly?
Yeah.
You all right?
Fine.
I've been worried there for a minute.
You got the ring?
I've got the ring.
Marriage, according to the law of this country, is the union of one man with one woman, voluntarily entered into for life.
Where's the waiting room? Oi!
No, you don't.
Excuse me, can I ask who you are?
You most certainly do not proclaim them husband and wife.
Can I ask why not?
Because Terry Raymond is still married to me.
Beat me up, Scotty.
You're my sun, my moon, my guiding star, my kind of wonderful. That's what you are.
Look, some of those weddings there, and I remember crying, I admit it, I remember crying at many of those weddings and laughing at some of them. Now, here are some of the very famous faces that have been on EastEnders in the past. Look out for a very, very young Johnny Lee Miller.
When will I
Do you know where the milk is?
Oh, hello, son. Have you met my new assistant, Jonathan?
Oh, yeah. Cheers. Pleased to meet you.
I just wondered, you know, well, if you'd go out with me again. Well, oh, please, I mean, we could go get pizza or see a movie or something.
I've
got his wallet! Let go! He's got me!
If you wanna be my lover, you gotta get with my friends.
I'd give in Ricky as Susie.
Oh, I ain't been told what to do.
I'm loving this, mate.
We got stars directing our fate.
And here's another face you might recognise. It's Winston, who last night you had a bit of a glory at the darts, didn't you, last night?
Indeed, indeed.
You were cheering. You're actually Ulric in real life.
That's right.
But you have been on EastEnders for how long?
Just after the beginning.
So, 14 and a half years you've been on it.
That's probably about right.
And you've never really said a lot, but you have dated a transvestite.
Yes, we try to forget that one, but...
No, well, we don't, because I'm going to mention it. This man said, I want a speaky, didn't you? You wanted more to say, and
Absolutely. Tony Jordan's fault.
Yeah, the writer.
He's the chief writer, and I pestered the life out of him. One day he decided to get his own back, and this is what he did.
You and the transvestite. I remember it very well. But it's lovely to see, because we see you all the time on the show.
Yeah.
So he does have a voice, everybody, you see. Exclusives here.
Well, actually, I just spoken to Mal Young, so I might actually get to say something. Or disappear completely.
You're asking for trouble. Jeremy, come and join us, come and join us. Now, we've got something to tell you that all this week on the show, you could win the chance to win a cruise around the Mediterranean. We are going to be giving you 4 clues. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 4 clues. So you have to watch all 4 days, you see. We're sneaky that way.
Sure.
I'm going to be getting postcards, OK? Now, this postcard says, all right, darling, I'm having a great time here in Florida. I can't do the voice, but I'm trying. But I managed to drag myself away to write this postcard. As you can see, the view's far better than Wolford's, not a single dot cotton in sight. No, we love not dot cotton. Right, must go. Give my love to everyone and have a drink on me or introduce the course. Lots of love. Angie. It's from Angie, OK?
Ah.
So here is a bit of a clue. That is today's clue, OK? Each day we're going to be giving you a clue. They're all going to add up on Thursday. I'm going to give you on Thursday a special phone number.
Indeed, you certainly are.
I am.
And let's see who wins.
Exactly. So you're going to be watching, and on Friday we will be announcing the winner. Now, have you ever wondered what a day in the life of EastEnders is like? Well, the one and only Peggy Mitchell, the glorious and wonderful Barbara Windsor, shows us all.
September 1998, 8 o'clock in the morning, and the crew are already hard at it. Attention to detail is vital. That's real fruit, real fashion, and real flowers.
I'm just scattering a few leaves around because this episode goes out in November and it's only actually September at the moment.
I've been making close to 7 years now, haven't I?
Been 11 years. We've got to sell some bags, it's terrible. I haven't sold anything.
There's dancing behind movie scenes, behind the movie scene. Sadirani.
You're going to make it as messy as possible.
At 8:50, the director discusses with crew the way he wants to film the first scene. He will have planned it meticulously, but things don't always go to plan. The second assistant's job, meanwhile, is to make sure everyone knows where they're going.
Oh, yeah, OK, right. Nadia. She's meant to be in makeup.
I don't really like makeup.
Oh, do you not?
I don't really bother with it.
You look good. Where was you in Spain?
Mallorca.
Mallorca.
Port Andres.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, very
Up
nice
in the
too.
mountains.
Yeah, lovely job.
Lovely. You've got... You
It's
go to
amazing how
Spain
good
a lot,
looking they
don't you?
make you look, isn't it?
I just conned them. I said it takes 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Don't
She's been here since the Jewish Passover.
Because of the tight schedule, there's no time for rehearsal before the day of filming, not like in the good old days. Now you just have to turn up on set, practice your lines there and then, and hope for the best.
Just been having a few words about activities. Me and the Fire Squad have just been having a few words about activities in the area.
Okay, we are recording. This is shot 1, take 3. Stand by. Action!
It's 11 o'clock. The crew are now ready to go for the first take of the day.
Hello, you two. Can I give you one of these? You're both more than welcome to come along.
Fortunately, we don't film everything outside.
Fire Squad about activities in the area.
More than a couple of...
After lunch, the crew move inside to the studio stage 1 to shoot the Vic scenes.
There's take more than a couple of idiots telling stupid jokes to stop me doing what I want to do, Grant.
The director's in the gallery, trying to take control.
Quiet, please. Action.
It's 6 o'clock. 10 hours worked already, and still a lot more to do. The supporting artists add the extra touch of realism by walking up and down in front of the painted backdrop of Bridge Street.
Okay, thank you. That is clear, and that's a wrap. Thank you, everyone, for a very
And that
good
was
day.
quite an easy day for us.
That's a day in the life of EastEnders, and this is a morning in the life of EastEnders. Happy birthday, EastEnders, with the stars, past and present, and the boss. I'm sitting next to him, and I'm being very nice to him, I promise everybody.
You can't have a pass.
Oh, please! How did you know that's what I wanted to say?
This is as close as you're going to get.
Oh, thanks very much. At least I'm here all week, so I'm very lucky. Now, if you'd like to speak to them, we're going to be having the phone lines open all this week, but we've got some callers on the line. And as usual with these phone calls, I have no idea what order they're coming in, so we're just going to go for it. Apparently, Lisa is first. Lisa, are you there?
Yes, hi.
Hi, Lisa. Can everybody hear Lisa?
Yep. Yeah.
Good. OK, who's your question for?
Hi, it's for Roberta.
OK, Roberta.
Yep. Would you actually fancy a toy boy in real life?
No. I wouldn't have that much confidence. I've got a son of my own who's 10 years older than the boy who played Troy. So I feel it too maternal. And I don't look very maternal, but what would I talk to him about? And he wouldn't be any good at it.
Excuse me, of course. Talking, I
Conversation.
hope you. Lisa, thank you very much for your call. OK, the next person on the line is... I've no idea, but I hope somebody's there. Menwin, are you there, Menwin?
Hello, it's Menwin, hi.
Hello, what a lovely name. Who's your question to?
It's to Leila.
Leila.
Hello. Hi, are the DeMarcos really Italian?
Well, I'm part Italian and Michael is, but the rest of you aren't you?
I've got nothing in me at all.
That must be the question that everybody always asks me as well.
Yeah.
At least now we know the definitive answer. Thank you for your call. Amy should be there. Amy, are you there?
Yeah.
Hello, good morning, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
Jolly good. Who's your question to?
Nick Cotton.
Ah, Nick. See, everyone, you are Nick Cotton to us all, I'm afraid,
Yeah, even
John.
the crew call me Nick. Yeah.
Go for it, Amy.
You get used to it.
Ask him the question. Don't be too scared of him.
Okay. Do you relate to the bad boy character of Nick Cotton? Are you really that nasty?
Well, people ask me how I play. I suppose only we all have anger, so I draw upon my anger regarding Nick. But apart from that, no, I'm not at all like Nick. If you ever meet me, you'll find out. Okay.
He's not actually. He's very gentle, I can tell you. Thank you for your call. Now, Charlotte, hopefully you're there on the line. Charlotte, are you there? Charlotte, hello. Charlotte's not there.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, you are, Charlotte. How wonderful. Good to hear your voice. You don't know how good it is. All women this morning. Who's your question to?
To Carly.
OK, Carly.
What is it like to be in the most popular soap?
Oh, it's brilliant. I love every minute of it, and if I didn't love it, I wouldn't do it. But it's very awkward, obviously, being very young, to get recognised and things. It's very hard when you're shopping and things. It gets a bit very personal, but it's
Everybody
nice.
wants to
I love
see
it.
what's in your trolley.
Yeah.
Charlotte, thank you. If you don't mind, I'm actually going to ask you all of that. I mean, how it actually feels for you as well. How does it feel to be in and to be as famous now as you are?
Well, you know, I mean, you were saying about the recognition and everything. I think there's a time and a place for it. You know, you meet a lot of nice people and a few strange ones, but, you know, sometimes it's lovely and sometimes it's not so lovely. But as I said, there's a time and a place for everything.
OK, great. And another person on the line, we've got Jo. Jo, hi Jo, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Jolly good. All the women this morning. Jo, who's your question to?
Mal Young.
Oh, Mal Young, the boss. Be very polite. Go for it, Jo.
I'd like to ask, are there any opportunities for new writers to work on along with the series like EastEnders?
Yeah, I think all the dramas need new writers all the time, actually.
So how do they go about it then?
Well, the great thing now is that, you know, there's lots of colleges, there's lots of courses that specialise in writing skills now. But the great thing about writing is you don't need to really learn anything other than just do it. You've got a piece of paper at home and a pen and your own imagination. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get. And then it's a case of getting people to tell you what you think of your work. You know, you want people, your family, your friends, to just give you feedback and tell stories. And if you're good enough, people start to pick up on it in local theatre, local radio. And we're looking around all those places all the time. You know, we're looking all in the regions for new writing talent breaking through.
Jo, did you ask that question? Are you an aspiring writer of soaps?
Well, yes, I've tried my hand at writing single dramas, but I would like to look into writing for soaps, and if there's any schemes that run for that kind of thing.
All right, so what would Jo do then?
Well, the best training is, you know, choose one of your favourite shows and write the next episode without watching it yourself.
And then send it in to anybody or not?
Just, no, the best thing is to, if you go too quick, you're not going to get the experience. It's best to write lots. So you go to your local theatre groups, go to workshops. There's lots of writers' workshops now. You want people to tell you what your writing's
I know,
like.
I've said it twice. I'm sort of putting you on the spot. But if there's somebody watching, I mean, Jo obviously has written a few things, and they wanted to send it into EastEnders, is there any point in doing that or not?
The BBC receive thousands of scripts every week, and every one of them is read and reported on, and we feed back the information. But the likelihood of someone really being picked up, you know, very quickly and being given such a big show to write, it's a professional show, you know.
Yeah, of course.
So they need the experience, but we usually point them in the right direction. But as I say, it's just write lots, and it will happen. If you've got the talent, it will come through.
Great, Mel. Thank you, Jo. Great question. OK, now we've got Chloe on the line. Good morning, Chloe.
Hiya.
Hi, how are you?
All right, thanks.
Jolly good. Who's your question to?
It's for Carly.
Carly.
Have you ever had any really embarrassing moments when filming EastEnders?
Embarrassing moments on EastEnders. I want to hear about all of them.
Michael Greco, who is Beppe, I don't know if he's going to like me saying this.
Go on, tell us.
But he farts a lot. And he always does it on set, all the time, so that's very hard to do a scene then with him. He's a big comedian, so it's brilliant working with him.
Good story, that one. How about you, Jackie? Any embarrassing things that you remember?
My stomach used to rumble every time I used to kiss Ross. Every single time.
Mine would as well.
And it grumbled so loudly. I couldn't help it. And it used to be, and I get the giggles so badly. And the two of us, it was a nightmare. Nightmare.
How about you, Roberta?
I just have to try and control Gavin, really.
In what way? Is he a dreadful practical joker?
No, he chunters. His future is June, really. June Brown. He chunters when he's got something on his mind, and he goes, no.
Actually, this is great. You're giving everybody else's secrets away. Any other secrets?
I can't think of one.
You're just being good because you now think I know. Can you remember anything embarrassing?
Anything embarrassing?
Yeah.
No, I can't right now, but apart from catching my leather jacket on the door of the laundrette. That was one of those outtakes that went down in the can. Yeah, I was sort of merrily walking in, I was just walking on the spot with my jacket hanging onto the door. That's the only thing I can remember, really.
Well, I remember Mark home battering some toast and having a row with me one morning, and he went, "I don't want to, Mum," and this piece of butter went right in my eye.
Oh, we're going to try and get that outtake. Yeah. Maybe we should try and get... Will you get that for us, Mal?
Yeah, we'll find it.
All right, we'll try and show that this week.
We won't find the one about Mark, what he does.
No.
I think we should put that out.
About Michael. No, Michael.
About Michael.
I think maybe we should. OK, next caller, Louise. Louise, are you there?
Hi.
Hello, Louise. Who would you like to speak to?
I've got a question for Leila.
Oh. Leila, go for it.
I was wondering, did you go to drama school or join any amateur dramatic societies before getting a part on EastEnders?
Yeah, I did. I trained at the Italia Conti, and also I went to America to Yale University, and I did a 5-week course there. Yeah, It was 9 in the morning till 10 at night, so it was good training for this kind of show.
Do you think that's the best way for I mean, we've got actors around here and you as well, Matt, but for people who want to be actors, and there might be kids watching as well, is it good to start training young, or is it good never to train, or is it...
Every actor I've met and worked with have a different story to tell, and some came into it a lot later, some earlier. I would say the best thing is, you know, to get an education behind you, because it's tough. There's thousands of actors who don't get a part as good as this. And so you need something to fall back on. You need that education, and you also need to live a bit of life. You need to try to live a normal life so you have something to draw on when you're acting.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're ending up you only exist in a TV world, which is totally false.
Oh, that'd be scary.
That is scary, yeah.
OK, now Marie, are you on the line?
Yeah, I am.
Hello, Marie. Who's your question to?
It's Carly.
Carly.
Hello. Hi. Do you fancy any members of the cast? One of the Big Brothers.
Oh, that would be
That'd
be incestuous. To
brothers.
We can't.
They're very nice, but a bit too old for me.
Why do you, Marie? Do you fancy them?
I think they're rather nice.
Who's your favourite fancy then?
Beppe.
Beppe.
Yeah.
Everyone loves him.
How about Steve? Do you like Steve Owen as well?
No, not really.
What about Jack Ryder?
Oh, yeah.
I know.
See, I like the older ones, you can tell. I didn't want to say that. Thank you, Marie, for your call. Now, can I just ask you, because you've had to do romantic scenes, and you especially were just about, I mean, you two in the shed the other night. It's getting a little bit risque, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all right with James Alexander, because he's lovely and he's funny, but when you get to do a scene with someone you hardly know, like when I had to do scenes with Jack Ryder, he'd just come into it, and it's a very scary thing to suddenly kiss him, you know, but I seem to be going around the square at the moment,
15
kissing
and 16
everyone.
doing that. And also you had to kiss the big man himself. Was that embarrassing the first time you say, OK, two of you now snog?
Well, no, because it's so technical. I think as you get older... Well, it is, isn't it? Because you've got a camera here and they're saying, just put your head this way. No, turn it this way, too much hair. No, don't put your lips that way. And in the end, you're thinking, oh, my God, just let's get it over with quickly.
Oh, I have to say, I'm being very jealous.
It's very technical.
Thank you all very much indeed for joining us. I'm just going to go over to Jeremy. Thank you so much for doing the phone-in. And Mal, thank you very much for letting us be here. Going over to join this man, to Jeremy.
Hi,
Gaby. Time to say goodbye. Please join us tomorrow where we've got loads more stars.
We have.
A good day today. And here's a preview of tonight.
Bye.
So you have changed your tune, yeah?
There you go.
We still feel the same, Dan. I'm back. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm the boss.
Are you sure you want the baby?
It's our baby, remember, Phil?
Have you thought about what having a baby would mean?
What are you getting at?
Look, what I'm saying is that there's a way out of all this.